Hello and welcome back to my little show once again on my memories. It's been a while मैं कोई नया स्टोरी लेके नहीं आया आपके सामने. देखिए स्टोरी टेलिंग ऐसा चीज़ है एटलीस्ट फॉर मी कि एक ज़बरदस्ती नहीं किया जा सकता है. वो ऑटोमेटिक आता है और आने के लिए कुछ कंडीशंस चाहिए होता है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपका राइट वेदर चाहिए होता है, राइट सेटअप चाहिए होता है, माइंड का एक राइट बैलेंस चाहिए होता है एंड सिमिलर अदर फैक्टर्स. तभी आप एक मेमोरी को एहसास यू कैन फील दोज मेमोरीज वेरी इंटेंसली एंड दैट्स व्हेन यू कैन टेल अ स्टोरी. तो हो नहीं रहा था तो इसलिए ऑफ कोर्स आई रिफ्रेन्ड फ्रॉम ज़बरदस्ती कोई स्टोरी बोलने के लिए. बट आज कुछ ऐसा हुआ जब आई वाज कमिंग टू माय वर्क प्लेस. एक ऐसा नज़ारा मैंने देखा जो देख के ही मेरे अंदर ना एक lot of emotions started coming out and most of these emotions were around my memories also. It was the place was all covered in leaves. It is the fall season out here and पेड़ पत्तों को झाड़ रहे हैं. I don't know if that's how it's called. And so you have all the leaves falling and roads ऐसे spiral होते हुए जा रहे हैं and you got leaves all around. It's such a beautiful sight, but a pleasant sight. तो यही नज़ारा देख देख के then I started recalling a lot of things which happened in my life. And ऐसी एक इंसिडेंस मेरे दिमाग में अभी आया है जो I thought कि okay let me just put it down on record and share with all of you. ये मैं वापस I'm taking you all to 2002, that era, that time frame, very close to my heart, the 90s and the 2000s. जब इनिशियल डेज ऑफ माई स्टे इन लंदन, पहला 3 महीना आई वॉज इन वेम्बली. सो उस दौरान की बात है. आई वाज स्लोली सेटलिंग इन टू माई लाइफ. 1 महीना हो गया था मुझे एंड नियर अबाउट चीज़ें मैं जान गया था, सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस में जानने लग गया था. बट देन अभी तक मैं आई हैड नॉट एक्सप्लोर्ड लंदन द वे आई वॉन्टेड टू. I had shared this with a friend of mine who was staying with me, a Gujarati friend of mine. And he was very nice enough. वो मेरे से सीनियर थे, सीनियर इन द सेंस नॉट प्रॉब्ली एज वाइज बट बिकॉज वो ऑलरेडी लंदन में 3 साल रह चुके थे. ही वॉज सम पटेल अगैन. सो ही ऑफर्ड मी टू थ्रो मी अराउंड लंदन. आई सेड सी आई डू नॉट वांट टू सी द एंटायर लंदन. ऑफ कोर्स मुझे मॉन्यूमेंट्स देखने का भी शौक नहीं है. आई वॉन्ट टू सी द नाइट लाइफ ऑफ लंदन. यू नो व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. आई वॉन्ट टू गो टू ऑल दोज प्लेसेस यू नो which is what probably I would be excited to hanging around in a weekend. जहाँ पे और clubs, discotheques and all those extra bars and pubs are there. So he said ठीक है fine. So he said ready हो जाओ निकलते हैं अभी. मैंने अच्छा अभी. I said yeah अभी चलो आज मैं free हूँ. So he said ठीक है. तो हम लोगों ने बस पकड़ा and as usual हम लोगों ने बस नंबर 18 पकड़ा. 18 पकड़ के we got down in a place called Edgware Road. एजवेयर रोड इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मैं इसका जिक्र इसलिए कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज ये एक लोकेशन है जहाँ पे हमेशा मैं बस चेंज करता था फॉर द 3 years that I was staying there. And that was a very Lebanese Arabic kind of a locality था जहाँ पे people would be sitting outside their shops. It was a commercial area I think, at least जहाँ पे मैं उतरता था वो तो commercial ही लगता था. Lot of shops were there and they would be sitting and having hookahs and lot of dates and खजूर and इस तरीके की चीज़ें वहाँ पे बहुत मिलते थे. I think Hilton Hotel was also there. मैं कई बार देखा था, उसके सामने भी मैं खड़ा होता था. I remember very clearly कि मैं Hilton Hotel क्रॉस करके मैं वहाँ पे एक बस स्टैंड होता था, वहाँ पे मैं खड़ा होता था to catch the bus which 18 while coming back home to Wembley. तो खैर एजवेयर रोड हम लोग उतरे. वहाँ से we took another bus which took us straight Oxford Street होते हुए पिकिडली सर्कस में हम लोग उतर गए. पिकिडली सर्कस आई हैव ऑलवेज सीन दैट एक बिल्डिंग है ऐसा उसका आई डोंट नो फ्रंट फेशिया ऐसा जिसके ऊपर पूरा LED का वॉल लगा हुआ है. उसमें बड़े सारे चीज़ें चलते रहते हैं विच आई सीन इन मैगजीन्स बिफोर आई वेंट टू लंदन और बचपन से जब एक लंदन का फ़ोटोग्राफ्स मैंने देखा था तो उस पिकिडली सर्कस का फ़ोटोग्राफ बहुत ही मतलब बहुत बार मैं देख चुका था. So I knew this was the place and so उतरे. बहुत अच्छा माहौल था, हल्का फुल्का बारिश जैसा, एक बूंदाबांदी भी शायद बीच बीच में चल रहा था. And the streets were shining because it was wet. ठंड भी थी, and there were people playing on the street. I mean, musical instruments. Certain people were performing. There were drum groups who were drumming around, and there were groups of guys and girls who were kind of dancing, screaming. So it was a fabulous kind of an environment. So some people were dead drunk, इतना drunk कि वो सड़क में सो गए थे. Some women were absolutely drunk and they were kind of struggling to be kept, kept on their feet. And मैं ये सारी चीज़ें मैं देख रहा था. I was finding it wow. Smell वहाँ के बहुत बढ़िया था. खुशबू was amazing. There were different kind of aromas which were kind of मेरे नाक के सामने से ऐसे गुजर रहे थे. I was like sniffing, and the sight was also fabulous. It was lit. There were colorful people. There were white people. There were black people. There were Asian people, brown people. There's so many different kind of people. Young men, women, old. I mean, it was a fabulous environment. तो फिर उसके बाद he took me to Leicester Square, which was again a very famous location. वहाँ पे बहुत सारे बॉलीवुड फिल्म्स शूट की गई है. एंड लेस्टर स्क्वायर से उस जगह से मैं जब मैं क्रॉस कर रहा था, then I saw a street which is kind of going down, and it is very lit, well lit, and well lit in a very different manner. There were a lot of neon signs which were there, and neons and its depiction, of the environment is बहुत ही romantic है. So I could see a lot of neons. There were multiple doors which were there. Doors के ऊपर neon signs में लिखा हुआ था. There were figures of girls which were kind of made through neon. There were, it was written taboo with neon. Somewhere it was written GALS, gals with neon. Somewhere it was written striptease. And ऐसे बड़े सारे. And there were a lot of. It was not a shady street. वहाँ पर बड़े सारे pubs थे, open air pubs थे, bars थे. Young men and women were coming in to and fro. And one of them in the distance had written, gentlemen's club, and there were figures of beautiful girls out there, who were standing in a group, and that kind of attracted me. I said, यार यहाँ पे जाना चाहिए. क्या मेरे को बॉलीवुड सिनेमा का लोकेशन दिखा रहे बेवकूफ़ आदमी, मुझे तो उधर जाना है. I told him, hey, let's go there. He said, no, Baba, we are not going there. I said, why? That's not a good place to go. I said, but why? अरे वहाँ पे सही जगह नहीं है वो. ऐसे यार आदमी है क्या, मतलब क्या है, मतलब ठीक है ना यार. इसे नहीं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग देयर. आई मीन, एंड आई एडवाइज यू ऑल्सो नॉट टू गो टू दैट साइड प्लेस. मैंने क्या हो, कोई मेरे को गोली मार देगा क्या? नहीं लूट लेगा, एंड वहाँ अच्छी चीज़ें नहीं होते. ऐसे यार ठीक है बाबा, थैंक यू सो मच, यू हैव शोन मी लंडन अराउंड, एंड दैट वाज एक्चुअली वेरी स्वीट ऑन हिज पार्ट टू शो मी अराउंड. एंड देन आई सेड ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, we will not go there if you're not comfortable going there. I said, why? I was thinking to myself, why would a 22, 23-year-old man who is living in London for last 4 years not be very comfortable where he should be comfortable? Come on, give me a break. But he was not. I said, ठीक है, कोई बात. Probably he might have had certain incidences, or maybe उसको ऐसे परवरिश जिसको बोलते हैं ना, दूर गलत चीज़ें ना देखो काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, वैसा सच में वैसे ही बना हुआ है. नेवर माइंड. सो वी केम बैक होम, बट आई न्यू मेरे को कहाँ जाना था. वो मैंने टारगेट में माइक्रोस्कोप में फिट कर दिया था कि दिस इज़ वेयर आई एम सपोज टू गो. रेस्ट तो बाद में देखी जाएगी. हिस्ट्री, आर्किटेक्चर एंड ऑल दैट क्रैप विल कम लेटर ऑन, बट आई नीडेड टू सी. If I can explain you, it was in my mind, it was not about these sleaze. It was not about the fact that there were nudity or nude girls or some striptease and pole dance which is going to. It's not about that alone. It was about the entire environment, experience that, एक risk या एक I don't know how can I describe that. एक जो माहौल होता है ना, even if you're not personally getting inside one of those bars, but just walking down that street is a different kind of a romance altogether. You feel that you're in some kind of a Hollywood film. I mean, that's the way that street was. And the name of the street is called Soho. खैर, so उस दिन तो हम लोग वापस आ गए थे, but the very next day, the Sunday, immediately after having my evening tea and all that, मैं फटाफट निकला, ड्रेस पहना और मैं निकल पड़ा अकेला. And now I knew where to go. I was well aware. उस टाइम पे Google Maps and all those were not there. So the phones were also not a smartphone. Humans were smarter then. अभी तो फ़ोन स्मार्टर हो गए. So I went to same route पकड़ के I got down in Piccadilly Circus, walked down to Leicester Square, and then I knew the street. So I took a left towards the street and I walked. And I walked and I walked. I was in that beautiful zone. And I was like, wow, this is the place to be. I mean, it was like a street. दोनों side पे there were shops and there were doors. Doors के ऊपर there were different kind of neon signs. Very interesting words were written, you know. The one which starts with S and ends with an X. बीच में एक letter है. You know, show, SHOW, strip shows and all those kind of things were written. एक के बाद एक. And it was not a very taboo kind of a street, you know. It was not something like a bad street. You had good restaurants out there. You had nice pubs and bars also out there. There were people like, I mean, good people like us who were walking down, coming. It's a normal busy street. It's just a normal busy street. It's just so okay out there. I mean, for here it was like, कहाँ गए थे तुम? No. खैर, so I was walking down. एक बार गया, वापस आया. एक बार गया वापस दोबारा आया. ऐसे 3-4 बार मैं चक्कर मार रहा था. And I was just soaking into the atmosphere. But I was not able to muster the courage to go to one of those counters and say, okay, I want to kind of get into this bar and see a striptease. वो करेज हो नहीं रहा था. बट आई वॉज इन द वो प्रोसेस में था कि मेरे अंदर करेज आ जाए कहीं से. तो ऐसे करते 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 वन ऑफ द गर्ल्स वाज सेइंग देयर एंड वाज प्रॉब्ली गेटिंग बोर्ड कि ये क्या कर रहा है, हिम्मत भी नहीं है इसको जस्ट टू गो फॉर ए पब और ए बार. देन शी जस्ट कॉल्ड मी एंड आई सेड वाओ, द गर्ल इज कॉलिंग मी. आई वेंट डाउन, शी सेड are you wanting to get inside the show? I said, all right. I said, so she was in a very nice skimpy little bikini, and I was like, all right. So she said there'll be lots more like me, you know, if you like to drink and have fun and enjoy, but no touching. I said, I don't believe in touching at all. Only seeing. She told me her accent was not really British. Her accent was, I would rather say, more of Spanish kind of an accent, you know, no touching, or probably Russian. No touching, only seeing. I said, I'm game. So I went down, she took me down. There was a counter था, उसने 10 pound लिया. A big guy was there, and he said, you can get, that's the entry fee, get inside. I got inside. It was a very darkish kind of a ambience, but then very intelligently lit to create the mood. When I saw around, turned around, I saw there were a lot of sofas which were there. हर सोफ़ा जो थोड़ा सा U shape के सोफ़ास थे, 4-5 लोग बैठ सकते थे. उसके सामने एक टेबल था white color का, which was again अंदर से lit था. So the colors of the table were changing from inside. And उसके बीच में एक pole था. You know, and there were multiple of them across. And there was a good music which was you know, happening. I looked around and I saw दूर में there were a couple of guys you know, who were sitting around and लग रहे थे ऑफिस से आए हुए, you know, young guys, you know. And beach में there was on the pole there was a beautiful looking white lady who was dancing. Needless to say, not with a lot of clothes, rather with no clothes, you know. And then I looked around here, and then again I saw a bunch of guys and girls who were, you know, sitting there. And again another beautiful looking black lady who was again there with no clothes. You know, she was dancing, and I was like, wow. So शायद मेरे टेबल में भी कुछ ऐसे ही होने वाला है. ऐसे ही मैं सोच रहा था, and I was soaking into the atmosphere, and then a girl came, and very petite little girl, and wearing an even petite bikini, and she sat beside me, and she introduced herself. Hello. I said hello. She said some name, I forgot. The name is irrelevant. Then she asked me stupid, mundane questions, and I know this was just to make me feel comfortable and all. I said, yeah, hoo ha he. And after that, she asked me, would you like to have a drink? I said, I know it's going to be expensive, but she said, no, you can just have a Coke. I said, okay. Then वो बंदे she called the waitress, and the waitress came again. She was in very skimpy clothes, and I was like, okay, मैं इसको देखूँ या waitress को देखूँ? And she said, okay, I'll have a Coke because that's the least expensive. Come on, I was an Indian student, and you know, so I would not be splurging in all these things. I'd come there to study. Okay, at least उस point of time पे तो मेरा दिमाग वैसे था, and I was out to explore, of course, but main thing was study. Okay. Then I had the Coke came, and while the Coke came, there was another big glass में strange looking glass में some strange looking drink came and was placed in front of the girl. I looked at her and I said, ठीक, I mean, probably she wants to have, she must be thirsty, poor fellow, fair female, poor lady, she must be very thirsty, तो इसलिए ड्रिंक मंगवाया, तो होता ही होगा उनके साथ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री. Then we started chit-chatting and talking, and she started asking my name, and she said, you don't look from this country. I said, well, yeah, you're intelligent. I don't even sound like from this country, और क्या चाहिए, दिखता भी अलग हूँ, कपड़ा भी मैंने अलग पहना है, and my accent is also very different. That's such an intelligent guess you've made. I was thinking in my mind, but I said, yeah, I'm not from this country. ऐसे करते करते then suddenly after some time 5 मिनट हुए नहीं थे, a big, huge, burly guy, shaven, came and he kept a folder in front of me. I said, what is this? He said, sir, this is your bill. I said, bill? For what? This is a bill for what you've spent time out. Spent time has just been 5 minutes I've been here. I've not even spent time at all. I mean, I've not even seen the girl properly, whom I'm talking to. She says, no, sir, it's 5 minutes basis. I said, is it? I opened the bill and I said, what? That was a bloody 450 pound bill. I said, have you gone mad? 450 pound a bill? For what? She said, no, sir, this is the bill. If you have got any issues, you need to come and sort it out. I said, sort what out? I did not have anything. I just had a Coke, which would be probably 3 pound. I mean, outside, if I go to a store, I'll get it for 50p. Club hai, strip club hai, okay, 5 pound, 10 pound. And I've already paid my entrance, 20 pounds. That's about it. So I need to pay another 10. No, 450 pound. If you have issues, please come. Then he just hold me, please come. And I said, hey, wait, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. So the good thing was, I know I was being intimidated and those guys were intimidating. I was in a foreign land. I was in a very sleazy, shady place जहाँ पे मेरा क्यों image according to our society, Indian system, खराब हो सकती है. The good thing was, while I was being intimidated and while I was in this setup which was very foreign, ऐसा मैं कभी पहले आया नहीं था, and from where I had gone, India से जब वहाँ पे गया था, obviously going to such kind of places is taboo, वो गंदे लोग जाते kind of thing, मेरा image. But वहाँ पे 3 महीने नहीं, 1 महीने में रह चुका था. तो 1 महीने में जो वो मैं रह चुका था, उसमें मेरे अंदर एक बहुत बढ़िया चीज़ डेवलप हो गया था कि I started taking decisions and I had to take decisions on my own for things that I was dealing with every day to day basis पे, वो छोटी हो चाहे बड़ी हो. And उसका जो एक रिजल्टेंट है, वो पॉजिटिव हो या नेगेटिव हो, वो मुझे ही भुगतना पड़ेगा और जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स आएगा फर्दर ऑन वो मुझे ही सॉर्ट करना पड़ेगा. तो ये प्रोसेस करते करते इनफैक्ट 20-25 दिन में मेरे अंदर काफ़ी कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ गया था, जो इंडिया में कभी नहीं हुआ था. बिकॉज हियर यू ऑलवेज हैव अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल टू टेक डिसीजंस फॉर यू, फॉर योर वेलफेयर, फॉर योर गुड एंड ऑल दैट, विच इज़ ट्रू. यहाँ पे शायद ज़रूरत है, बट देन वंस यू गो अब्रॉड यू डोंट हैव दिस क्लैन ऑफ वेल विशर्स अलॉन्ग विथ यू. You will have to deal with everyday situations yourself. You just cannot ask or seek advice and suggestions every time. So भले आप ही को खुद के लिए सोचना पड़ेगा. So उस प्रोसेस में गलती ऑफ कोर्स आप करते हो, करते करते आपके अंदर एक कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ जाता है, जो मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. I was very confident by then and I knew deep down inside that situation that I've landed in right now, उसको मुझे ही टैकल करना था. Nobody else. I cannot call up चाचा, ताऊ, मामा, भाई तू आजा, ये देख क्या कर रहा है. I can't do all that. It doesn't happen like that there. So I had to sort it out myself. So I told very clearly, boss, I'm not going to pay 450 quid. Then they asked me, escorted me to the manager's table, and behind the manager there were 6 more big guys out there. But I was not getting intimidated, and they were trying the level best. He said very clearly, if you don't want to pay up, then I'm sorry, I'll have to ask my boys to sort out with you. Or I'm going to call the police and you will be in jail and your university will be informed about you that you've not paid up bill and all that. So they were trying to scare me. And I was listening. And I said very clearly, you do what you want. I'm not going to pay a single pound because I've not utilized any facilities, number 1. And number 2, yes, I've had a Coke. I'm going to pay for that, but that's not going to be 50 pound at all. You do whatever you want. You want to bash me up, you want to hit me, you want to kill me with 6 guys, do that. But I'm not going to pay a single pound, do whatever you want. And I told them one more thing. And remember one thing, if you let me go live, I'm going to sue you so bad that your entire license and your entire remaining years, all of you will be in jail for the rest of your life for harassing an international student. And that kind of scared them off. Then they said, okay, how much money you've got? I said, doesn't matter how much money I've got. I'm not going to pay you a single penny. He said, do you have your passport with you? I said, no, I don't carry along my passport when I travel to a strip club. Please, that's the last thing I would do. I'm not so stupid. No. Then they were looking at each other. I said, see, I've paid £10 in my entry. I'm going to pay 10 more pounds. That's all. You want to take it or you want to leave it? And I, of course, paid £10 and I left, walked up. And I was like, तब तक I was full burst in confidence. But ऊपर जब आया तब मेरे को लगा कि damn, what a situation I was in. And ये सोच ही रहा था कि I suddenly saw मेरे साथ में उसी जगह पे दो साउथ इंडियन लुकिंग इंडियन गाइज अभी फ्लाइट से लैंड किया होगा, हीथ्रो से डायरेक्ट यहाँ पे आया होगा. वैसी ड्रेस देख के मुझे समझ में आ गया था. एंड दे वर लाइक हाशाशिंग, टॉकिंग टू ईच अदर, चले क्या ना चले, क्या हो गया. दे द स्माइल, यू नो दैट मिस्चीवियस तो नहीं कहूँगा, बेवकूफ़ी वाला स्माइल. एंड दे वर लाइक काइंड ऑफ, एंड देन आई वाज लाइक, देन आई काइंड ऑफ आराम से वहीं पे साइड में खड़ा होकर उनको देख रहा था करते क्या है ये लोग. मैं तो 20 दिन 25 दिन यहाँ पे रह के मैं आई वाज सॉर्टेड आउट. आई न्यू हाउ टू टैकल थिंग्स आउट देयर. ये तो अभी लैंड हुआ, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है, लग तो रहा है. एंड देन द सेम गर्ल हु हैड काइंड ऑफ एस्कॉर्टेड मी डाउन, शी केम आउट इन अ डिफरेंट कलर्ड बिकिनी नाउ. And then they spoke to her, and she smiled, and they were so happy. They were looking at each other and giving those nods kind of things, and they went down. I said, बेटा बकरा तो तुम फंस गए, अब तो तुम फंस गए, अब देखो क्या होने वाला है. So I came back. While I was walking down, मुझे लगा अच्छा पटेल भाई भी यहाँ पे आ चुके थे और आके उन्होंने शायद 450 पाउंड दिया भी और मार भी खाया होगा, तभी इस रोड में ही आने से वो डर रहे हैं. But well, I mean, for me it was not that case, because you'll have to explore things. You'll have to explore. I mean, you just cannot, you don't do things which are illegal, but if you don't explore and if you don't experience, आप चीज़ों को जानेंगे कैसे, आप समझेंगे कैसे. आज मैं एक्सप्लोर किया, देखा, गया. I knew it was not an illegal place to go, and I landed in a situation where I was being really intimidated very hard, and those guys out there are very big. The doormans and the bouncers are very big, menacing looking guys. I would not stand a chance if it had to be a hand-to-hand fight. But because I went and because I was in that situation, I had to take a call. And because वो जो 20-25 दिन ऑलरेडी लंदन में था, मैं अपने आप डिसीजंस लेना चालू कर लिया था. एंड उसका रिजल्ट, सो वॉट एवर डिसीजंस आई टुक, आई न्यू मुझे भुगतना पड़ेगा. आई वॉज नॉट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट माई इमेज, लोग क्या सोचेंगे, वो क्या सोचेंगे, वो क्या, ऐसा इममटीरियल. सो दैट कॉन्फिडेंस केम and I came out very nicely with that experience. And I was not like my friend कि उस रोड पे जाना नहीं है. उसके बाद मैं हमेशा उधर ही जाता था. I used to go to Soho Street only. I mean, every second, third weekend I would normally go down to Soho Street. I'll sit down in one of those pubs and bars and strip clubs, have my beer and whiskey and come back without anybody bothering me at all. Thank you so much. I hope आपने enjoy किया ये story को, and come back with a new story again very soon.